Zoning Board of Appeals. We have a number of hearings in front of us tonight. Like to start with our first appeal. This is to hear the appeal of Keith Sr., 136 South Quinsigamon Ave, Shrewsbury, Mass., for a variance.
Bills.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon me for a second. Can I borrow this?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't have that in front of me. I apologize. Our first item on the agenda is to sign a bill, and it's for the community advocate for $357.50 for the June 26, 2023 legal notices. Can I get a motion, please?
Move to approve?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. On to our hearings.
Minutes.
Oh, excuse me. Next item on the agenda. This is to review and approve the minutes from our May 22nd, 2023 meeting. Any discussion?
Nope.
Can I get a motion?
Move to approve minutes?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. On to our first appeal. This is to hear the appeal of Keith Sr., 136 South Quinsigamon Ave, Shrewsbury, Mass., for a variance to the Shrewsbury zoning bylaws, Section 7, Table 2, and a special permit to the Shrewsbury zoning bylaws, Section 4B, to reconstruct a pre-existing non-conforming deck with a non-conforming rear yard setback of 38 9/10 feet on a non-conforming dwelling upon property located at 136 South Quinsigamon Avenue in the Residence B2 zoning district. The subject premise is described on the Shrewsbury Assessor's Tax Plate 38, Plot 033000. Can I ask the appellant please to step forward?
Hello.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Good.
Great. If you could state your name for the record and let us
Keith
know.
Senior.
Hello, Keith.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I've owned the home for coming up on 12 years now, come July next month. And there's what I guess best described as is a 3-season porch on the back of the house that was there when I bought it. I suspect that it wasn't permitted possibly when it was built. It does not appear to be structurally sound or safe. I've done a lot of repairs to this house, mostly interior at this point, and now I've gotten myself financially to the point where I can start attacking the outside. So the main portion of why we're here tonight is the decks. I'd like to rip that 3-season porch off of the house. It's the first floor, which would be the basement level of the house, as well as the second floor. It's 2 stories, which would attach into the kitchen and the main floor of the home. I'd like to rip that off and build a 2-story deck. A fairly similar footprint. The porch that's in place now is approximately 18 feet wide. I think out of respect to the neighbors, we are coming inside of that minimally, nothing grand, but as opposed to expanding the footprint, we're coming right inside of what's currently there, side to side. And then coming off of the house, heading towards the lake, we're looking to add approximately 2 feet from the existing porch that's there to add 2 feet to the deck that we're looking to build.
Okay. Louise, any further comments?
No comments. We asked the appellant to provide another plot plan just to be sure of the side yard setbacks, and so we knew what those were. And that were the only questions building and planning had.
Okay. Let's talk about amongst the board members first.
So I don't have any problems with it, especially where it's inside the same footprint. And in terms of meeting the criteria for a variance, I mean, you've got a slope, you've got pre-existing structures. I think there's a hardship there. So yeah, I don't have any issues. Thanks.
Thank you.
Ann?
I have no issues.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Same here.
David?
I have no issues.
Thank you.
Okay. I neither have issues myself. I do have issues, but not regarding this hearing. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this matter? Would you mind stepping forward and identifying yourself, please?
My name's Marguerite Cormier. I'm Keith's immediate abutter, and I think it's an awesome plan he has there. And I'm for it as well. Just wanted to put that on the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really helpful to have neighbors, especially when they're in favor. Anyone else that wishes to be heard? Okay. Thank you. Might I get a motion from the board?
Move to close the public hearing?
Move to close. Going to get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve a variance, Section 7, Table 2, to reconstruct a pre-existing non-conforming deck with a non-conforming rear yard setback of 38 and 9/10 feet on a non-conforming dwelling, and a special permit, Section 4B, to reconstruct a pre-existing non-conforming deck with a non-conforming rear yard setback of 38 and 9/10 feet on a non-conforming dwelling at 136 South Quinsigamond Avenue in the Residence B2 District.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next hearing. This is to hear the appeal of Chad Portis, 33 Blackthorn Road, Shrewsbury, Mass., for a variance to the Shrewsbury zoning bylaws, Section 7, Table 2, to construct a shed 12 feet from the side yard setback upon property located at 33 Blackthorn Road in the Rural A zoning district. The subject premise is described on the Shrewsbury Assessor's Tax Plate 12, Plot 016000. The appellant, please step forward.
Good evening, James Brown, actually primary abutter, and I'm the general contractor. Chad unfortunately could not make it. I know you probably have these, but these are larger versions.
Yep, they become record, so,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Sorry for the broadcast.
We'll share.
Yeah, I'll share. Thank you.
So going back several years ago, my company constructed Chad, the Portis residence, with their, it's a contemporary farmhouse, board and batten siding, western red cedar. And then about a year later, we proceeded to build his accessory barn structure with a viewing silo. If you look at this, the plot plan, if you look where where the shed is going, if you start to head down towards Hickory Bend, it starts to slope away. And this is an accessory building. It's going to be used for lawn equipment and pool supply equipment. And he also has a hard court that you can see on the GIS elevation plan. And so it's basically going to be used for equipment to service those areas. It's also going to be same facade as the barn and the main house. So it'll be board and batten hardy board siding along with western red cedar. If you look at the elevation, if you look down on Hickory Bend, those houses down there, 460, roughly for elevation. And then you look at where the barn is and where the shed is going, it's 520. There's quite an elevation drop there. That retaining wall we put in is 32 feet. So the people down on Hickory, if you're down on Hickory, you can basically just see the top of the viewing silo and maybe the back of the barn. That shed will not be visible, and it will not be visible from my property. So if you look at all these abutting pieces here, that's my property to the east. I'm sorry, to the west. So there's really no, obviously I'm building the shed, but I have no complaint as an abutter either. It's not interfering with my view. And the reason we're doing it, the hardship is because of the grading. It starts to slope away, we'd need to put, excessive retaining walls in.
Thank you.
That's pretty much it.
Ms. O'Neill?
No comments.
Okay. Any board comments before we get into public?
I guess just a sort of a question. It looks like there's sort of ample space here where it could go.
So that took quite a while.
I do believe it might be the only viewing silo in Shrewsbury, if I'm not mistaken.
The only one in the state, I
It
believe.
might well be. It's a fascinating house.
Yeah.
I've so admired it over the years, so it's interesting to see this come in front of us. And I do recognize that there's quite a grade difference there.
There is.
So those would be my comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this? All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing?
All in favor, second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. And can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve variance, section 7, table 2, to construct a shed 12 feet from the side yard setback at 33 Blackthorn Road in the Rural A District.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Just put that in there, if you don't mind. Actually, the whole thing needs to go in there.
Got it.
All right. Next appeal. This is to hear the appeal of Shrewsbury Maple LLC, P.O. Box 500, Shrewsbury, Mass. For a variance to the Shrewsbury zoning bylaws, Section 7, E4C, to exceed the aggregate area of signage in the excess of 2 square feet per linear feet of frontage that's allowed by the bylaws upon property located at 378 Maple Ave in the Commercial Business Zoning District. The subject premise is described on the Shrewsbury Assessors, Tax Plate 32, Plot 346000. I invite you to step forward, please.
Thank you for having us. Does everybody have this?
It's on our Google Drive. Does anybody care to,
The photo?
I think it'd be
Photo?
good if you could pass it around. I should have brought my copy.
Sure.
Okay, here's two.
we actually, yep.
You do have it.
I have one, but they might not, so
Here you go.
you want to see?
I'm also,
You
I got it here on
Okay.
the thing.
So my name's Mike Wood. I'm the owner of Sinorama Worcester. I've been working with the owner, Sam Adams, here on my right. And what we are looking to do is increase the square footage that is allowed for the tenants. And if you look at the picture, you can see why. So it's a unique lot with the parking lot being about 300 feet from the tenants being about 300 feet from the road there. On your right in the image is the proposed square footage, and on the left is what is allowed now. So you have 30 square feet allowed. We're pursuing 50 per tenant. With the people who are leasing these spaces, we are working with their logos to make them fit within the confines. But some of these are actually franchises, and they have specific marketing branding guidelines that do not allow for retooling the logo. So this is a good example, Eggaholic that you see there that is moving in. It is very difficult to read that from the road.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we can increase the square footage. It still fits neatly within the sign ban, as you can see there in the rendering. Hopefully you agree. And it would just be great for visibility, maybe actually safer for people passing by.
Ms. O'Neill?
No comments. We understand that, each new tenant coming in will need their own sign, so.
Comments from the board? Peter?
Yeah, I don't see any issues with this. I think it doesn't subvert the intent of the bylaw. I think the intent of the bylaw is to make sure there aren't sort of giant signs right next to the road, which is obviously not the issue here. And I think it's unique to have the building be that far back from the road. So I think it makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Ann?
I have nothing.
Kevin?
We don't need to condition this to be just for this property, right? If we're deciding to change or modify a bylaw for a specific address, I guess I should say.
No, I think it would only apply to this particular.
Okay, I wanted to make sure we didn't get ourselves into a situation where we approved this and then it, unbeknownst to us,
No.
approves across the board.
No, it shouldn't.
Okay,
Yeah, specific to this.
okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing further.
Would any part of this variance apply to the freestanding sign that's out by the intersection?
No, that has already been, that's already permitted.
Okay.
It would not change that.
Okay, yeah, then, yeah, I agree. I think your frontage to lot area is a little unique. The building is set very far back. So,
I do remember the marketplace also came in front of us, a number of years in front, so I have no issues whatsoever.
Thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone that wishes to be heard? We have a large peanut gallery back there. Nobody, all right. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Move to close the public hearing?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Can I get a motion, please?
So I move to approve the variance under section 7E4C to exceed the aggregate area of signage in excess of 2 square feet per lineal feet of frontage that is allowed by the bylaw at 378 Maple Avenue in the Commercial Business District.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Look forward to all your new tenants.
Thanks.
All right. Appeal of Ala Situk, 43 Halando Drive, Shrewsbury, Mass. For a special permit to the Shrewsbury zoning bylaws, Section 4 and Section 9, to rebuild a pre-existing non-conforming deck 25 3/10 feet from the side yard setback upon property located at 36 Rockwell Drive in the Rural B zoning district. The subject premise is described on the Shrewsbury's Assessor's Tax Plate 48, Plot 048000. Can I invite the appellant to please step forward? And can you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Alec Tituk, and I am the contractor for the owner of the above property, and we are looking to rebuild pre-existing, about 30-year-old deck. We are not looking to decrease the distance between the abutting property and the deck. We're just rebuilding pre-existing deck.
Okay, thank you. Louise?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. Peter?
Where it's the same footprint, I have no problem with it.
Ann?
I agree with Peter.
Thank you. Evan?
Yeah, seems pretty straightforward.
David?
Yeah, same footprint, I agree.
Okay, we need a Staples button. That was easy.
Yeah, right.
However, it is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this matter? Since there's no one in the room, I'm going to assume that that's a quick no. So can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Can I get a motion, please?
Move to approve the special permit under section 4 and section 9 to rebuild a pre-existing non-conforming deck 25 3/10 feet from the side yard setback at 36 Rockwell Drive in the Rural B district.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the work you did on your appeal. Really, you did a lot of really good information that helped us, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
looks like that wraps up our meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.